Alright, so I have an extra bezel laying around and I put the new one in. If you saw my last video, you know this one was flickering pretty bad. And just to note that it is very common for these, for the paint on these to chip off very easily. As you guys know, I road trip the car a lot. I think I've driven this down to California 2 or 3 times already with these fog bezels on, and yeah, it's just normal use. As you can see, no flickering on this one. I wired it differently so it comes on when I turn on the fog lights. So those are the Morimoto fog lights, if you guys are wondering. And one thing to note, since I'm looking at the front end, I highly recommend you guys get a clear bra. If your front bumper is still in good condition, I highly recommend it. My first bumper, which didn't have a clear bra, looked like poop after about 20,000 miles, and it still looks pretty damn good. As you can see, the clear bra job isn't perfect, but it's still a whole lot better than having a bunch of rock chips up front. Also add a little clear bra to the front lip, and that's still good. So I think this is Expel, I think. So yeah, just quick update for you guys.
This is a Ryan Little
You're feeling the strip for the rump, step bump, hit a funk, get a jump, get the dust, this feel just be thuggin', straight buzzin', loving your peoples, cause we so real, chill, better bring your weapon, with step and bring on that ammunition, trippin', no sip, not to mention, never knew no competition, but I gotta get mine, so scream my mo and let me hear ya holler, not about that mighty dollar, roll with the bomb of thugger, follow, chain game remaining the same, flaming my dank and drinking brews, thinking about that hanging, cutting my bank.
So this might seem a little bit obsessive, but I'm just cleaning out the wheels real good and getting all that gunk out of the wheel wells using the quick jack. I'm not gonna do a whole video on this, by the way. Car washing is pretty easy when you got kids. Wow, there was a whole bunch of crud that came out of my wheel wells. I suggest you do this once a year if you live in an environment like I do where it rains a lot and it snows occasionally. Of course, if I lived in a drier environment such as California, I probably wouldn't even bother. I know a lot of you guys might disagree with me, but I'm really digging the way the Q300 sounds with the catless J-pipe and header. I don't know, something about it just doesn't sound like other FAs. Okay, so what we got going on today, I might change out the front bumper. The reason is my other bumper, which is my beater bumper, which has some scratches and a crack in it, has the big bumper cutout. That's something I never did a video for. That's something I did, you know, kind of, you know, at the spur of the moment kind of thing, late at night. And I wish I did that video or that tutorial on how to cut your front bumper if you have a front mount intercooler. And as you guys know, I have a bumper right there that is sold to someone else, just waiting for him to come pick it up. And this is the bumper that I have right there with the bumper cutout. And there's a reason why you want a bumper cutout with the front mount intercooler. That front piece actually just covers, I don't know, about 30% of the intercooler. So you can see the intercooler down here, but the intercooler actually goes all the way up here. So more than half of it is covered by the front bumper cover, which kind of impedes some of the airflow. So that's the reason why people cut their front bumper. As you guys know, I have the PERRIN front mount intercooler, and this is the template that comes with it. Actually, I think this is an option which has a stencil if you want to put the logo on your front mount intercooler. And this is the front bumper cutout. So this is what I used. I didn't use a Dremel like a lot of people do. I just used a sharp knife. So using a X-Acto knife or just any sharp blade, you just trace it around repeatedly, and eventually you'll cut right through the plastic bumper. So that's what I recommend doing. But you can use Dremel just as long, just don't use it too fast, otherwise it starts melting and your edges starts getting real jagged. But yeah, this is an option. I don't know if they sell this part separately. Let's see if I can show you the part number on there. And this is the part number. So you can ask them if they'll sell it to you separately. I am not sure. I might switch bumpers out, you know, now that I think about it. Had this bumper on all winter, so it still has that winter crud still on there. So I'm just getting all that loose dirt off and just give it a nice good cleaning, because I'm going to do something to this bumper. So this bumper isn't too bad. To most of you, you guys would think this bumper is just fine, but you know, there are things that just bother me. Like this big scratch right here. It has one big long scratch up here. And the biggest thing is this crack. This crack really bothers me, and I just don't like it. It just sticks out too much. But really, that's about it. When you have a bumper that's in perfect condition, also fully clear broad with X-Bell, I don't know, it's just, this one just seems kind of poop. This bumper right here actually has quite a bit of miles from it. I've done 2 road trips to California with this bumper, and like I said earlier, no rock chips. Compared to this bumper, which I never got clear broad, man, this thing has so many rock chips on it with just, I don't know, 10 to 15,000 miles. That soft Subaru paint really sucks, I'm telling you. This is why I highly recommend a clear bra. Also, one thing I noticed, there's also a big scratch. I guess a rock hit my little vinyl wrap right here. And I'm just in the process of taking this vinyl off. You know, this is something that I'm gonna have to do on a different day because I don't have any vinyl laying around to redo this. I don't know what they call this, a catfish grill, I guess. Yeah, project for another day. Alexa, pause. All right, so I'm just modifying the bumper a little bit. So I just want to make the opening just a little bit bigger and kind of curve the top edge just a little bit. And I'm just using this simple Walmart 99-cent knife. There are better ones out there, but this is all I have right now. But this will do. So all I did was started with my first cut. And all you have to do is just keep cutting through there. And eventually, you'll get right through it. It becomes super easy once you break the material about halfway through. But yeah, so like you saw here, I'm not using a template. I'm just using blue tape. So I'm not really sure if you need the template when you first cut your bumper with this piece still on there, but I'm just using blue tape, using it as an outline. Just make sure you have a nice steady hand all the way through. So I'm seeing progress here. So all I did was repeated cutting of the line I first made. I think the hardest part was establishing your first line so that your knife can just follow this channel right here. And once I got about halfway through, all I did was bent it down, and you can see this is already almost starting to come off. I know this is not a full bumper cut, but this is pretty much 90% of it right here, except for the sides. Pretty much the same thing. Just goes to show anyone can do this. All you need is a knife. You don't need any fancy equipment. So if you're interested in doing this and you have a front mount intercooler, highly suggest it. I think this is about to come out now, yeah. There you go. You can see my finger right through there. Really easy, only took me about 20 minutes to do. I think, like I said earlier, the hardest part was establishing your straight line. And after that, once I'm done with all this, I'm probably gonna sand this cut line just a little bit smoother so it doesn't look all jagged like my previous job here before. So this part is optional. I'm just gonna add some touch-up paint to the bottom of where I cut so it doesn't look too odd. So I already sanded everything down. Everything looks nice and smooth. So I'm just gonna add some touch-up paint. And fast forward 2 hours later, I just did a bumper swap with my beater bumper. Well, you know what? I'm gonna give this one last hurrah to see if I like the big old bumper cut. And nothing against the bumper cut. I really do want the front mount intercooler to be a lot more efficient. I just don't like the way it looks at certain angles. I don't know, that's just me. I also prefer the catfish grill and the little vinyl overlay at the bottom of the grill. I really do like that, and this one just looks plain. I don't know, to some of you it might seem a little bit cleaner. I really do want the front mount intercooler to get more air. As you can see, I took about 5 inches off. I don't know, if you look closely you can see where the cutoff was with the stock bumper, and that's a lot of surface area for the front mount intercooler that is not getting direct airflow, which is what makes a front mount intercooler efficient. All right, just bought a new car part. It was on clearance. I hope I don't regret this decision, and I don't know how long it's gonna take to ship here, but as soon as it gets here, I'll let you guys know exactly what I got.